Let's talk now to Councillor Caroline Clapper. She's one of the people that defected from the Conservative Party yesterday to Reform UK, was a Conservative councillor for Hertfordshire County Council, Watling Division, and now isn't. Let's see what she makes of it all. Councillor Caroline, very good morning to you.
Very good morning. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, not at all. Thanks for joining us. What did you make of what Kevin Hollingbeck said there? He's basically saying that, he wants the electorate to give him another chance. He's very optimistic about the Conservative Party's ability to sort of bounce back. I'm saying that I don't hear that from many people that I speak to, and I certainly don't hear it from many of my listeners and viewers, many of whom used to vote Tory and who say they'll never vote Tory again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really difficult. For me, it was a very difficult decision. I've been a loyal Conservative for, decades and decades. And, I suppose the way I look at it is we have 14 years in government. I think towards the end of government, certainly during a lot of government, the Tory party weren't delivering. For the past year, they've been in opposition, and I would say opposition against what I deem to be a really terrible Labour government. And I just don't think they've done anything in opposition. And then all of a sudden you've seen, conference week, which, every party is going to have a conference bounce, that's expected. But all of these policies being brought out at the last minute. And to me, they've all just seemed like a carbon copy of exactly what Nigel Farage is saying. So, it kind of, in some ways, smacks a bit of desperation and doesn't really show a vision. It just shows a party that's, trying to be heard, and I don't think anyone's listening.
No, and they seem to have been very slow out of the blocks, don't they? As you say, I mean, the Starmer government is about as bad a government as we've had for a very long time, and it seems as though every single day they sort of serve up a menu of complete and utter hopelessness and come up with some more garbage that nobody wants. And I mean, we have a great time here on my show because we come in every day and go, what's he going to come up with today? Surely it can't be any worse than yesterday, and it always is. And yet the Tories don't seem to know how to react to it.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's been one of my big frustrations, that, you're watching what's going on a daily basis and you want to see some really strong opposition. Nigel Farage seems to be the only person that's providing any sort of opposition, and they're not even the party of official opposition. So I think, people want change. People want to see this government be properly scrutinised at the moment. It deserves to be scrutinised. Any government deserves to be scrutinised, and everyone deserves an effective opposition.
Yes, and don't you think also there's a bit of a thirst at the moment for something new? People are a bit fed up with what they're calling the uni party. It's the Tories, it's the Labour Party. There's not really much difference. There's not much to choose between them. They're both, equally kind of hopeless at running anything, it would seem. And as much as, the Reform Party are sort of untested and they haven't really run government before, they are people who have run things. They are people who have got more experience of what I would call the outside world, as many councillors have got, And it just seems as though there's a sort of a sense that the country wants something different now.
Yeah, I really feel that. It was just the energy and the enthusiasm that I've noticed from people within the Reform Party, people who volunteer, people that have even contacted me that have never been engaged in politics in their whole life. Yeah. Some of them haven't even voted before, and they're saying, not only, am I supportive, but, I want to get out there. I want to help. People do have an appetite for change. And, you're right. Reform haven't been in government before, but, they've got 3 years to get themselves into shape. And I really think they're going to be well enough organised to be able to govern effectively by the time comes, because people don't want more of the same.
No, I think that's right. And did you have any conversations with the Tories before you left, or did they try and stop you from going, or what did they say?
I've had conversations with a lot of colleagues and said, I'm not happy with the state of the party. I'm not happy with the level of opposition. I'm not happy with the policy. But I think it boils down to something a bit deeper than that, which is I've held the same values my entire life. Since I was a teenager, I've held the same values. My values haven't changed. I couldn't even tell you what the Tory party stands for and what their values are. So, for me, I don't really feel like I've left the Tory party. I feel like the Conservative Party has left me and left many others.
Yeah, and obviously you're one of 22 councillors who defected yesterday. It feels like that's the beginning to me. It feels like there's going to be a lot more as sort of the time goes on through the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, at the risk of sounding like a soundbite, you can kind of feel this turquoise tsunami that seems to be flowing. I can certainly see that from the messages I've received. I know lots of people are thinking about it. I know lots of people are really questioning their political future. And it's a big decision. You know, it's a very hard decision to leave what you've always known, to leave the people that you've worked with for years, to leave your friends. But I just think sometimes you've got to, you know, be bold, be brave, make a choice that you believe is for the betterment of the country.
Yeah. Well, it's a fascinating time, I think, to be in politics. So let's see where it all leads. But there's an awful lot of optimism, I think, in the reform movement. I mean, you know, Kevin Hollyoake was trying his best there to say that they're very optimistic at the Tory party conference. But from what I'm told from the people that are up there, it's a pretty grim scene.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the same. I've heard the same about, you know, less people attending, empty rooms. You know, you see from the main stage, because those are televised, you know, how many empty seats there's been at those events. But, you know, I think you're right, that is one of the big differences between not only the people within the party, but what people want, actually. I think, you know, a lot of people are looking around, they're looking around at our country and how it's changed, and they want to see hope, and they want to see aspiration, and they want to see energy, and they want to see an appetite to actually be able to bring that change forward. Is there that enthusiasm still in the Conservative Party? I clearly haven't been at conference this week, but you know, it seems to me I can see where the enthusiasm is, and I can see that it's definitely in the Reform Party.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we wish you luck, Councillor Caroline Clapper. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us. I'm sure we'll talk again. She's defected to Reform UK in Hertfordshire.